Back on the SportsMax Zone on this Wednesday, and we're at the track, on the eve of at the track, if you know what I mean. Day 2 of the Royal Ascot 5-day festival in Berkshire, England, showing live daily on SportsMax. It produced some very exciting races, among them the Prince of Wales' stakes over 10 furlongs, the richest of the festival, at £1 million. Mastadaf produced a career best run to land a red-hot renewal of the featured Gold Cup, Royal Ascot Group 1 event. Sent off as an unfancied 10-1 bet against Bay Bridge, trained by Barbadian Sir Michael Stout, and the Gold Cup star Luxembourg, the two race favourites. It seemed an uphill task for the 5-year-old Mastadaf, but he beat the odds to deliver victory for trainer John Gosden.
In the battle for the lead, they now grab hold. My Prospero's nearly climbing on the back of them as Adayar, now in full stride, also closes to Luxembourg. So that little joust didn't last very long, and Luxembourg now has the advantage from Classic Causeway in second by half a length. Adayar is third as they make their way into the bend. Right, Prospero races in fourth, early on Bay Bridge, and at the back Mastadaf as they make their way now right-handed. Luxembourg still a little bit pressed by Classic Causeway, who's racing keenly in the eye line of the leader. Adayar in third place, the blue jacket, my Prospero racing in fourth in the yellow with the purple star. Then Bay Bridge in the fifth place position as Mastadaf as they make their way steadily up the hill. Luxembourg still leading, Classic Causeway in second place, Adayar in third. My Prospero, Tom Marquand, is in fourth place at the moment. Bay Bridge still on the running rail as they climb uphill, and that was a over 13-second furlong. The gradient having something to do with it, but Luxembourg just trying to get a breather in. Mastadaf is still last as they prepare now to spin the bend. Luxembourg, Classic Causeway in second place, Adayar on the heels, but no way of getting out. My Prospero is just nudged along in fourth place as the pace begins to lift. Then Bay Bridge and Mastadaf moving into it as they pass the three. Luxembourg, Classic Causeway, Adayar a little bit imprisoned on the inside, now spies a gap. My Prospero, Mastadaf coming into it, and Bay Bridge looking for a way through. Luxembourg it is who has the lead. Adayar is now out in the clear. Mastadaf down the outside stakes his claim. Then Bay Bridge and My Prospero, and it's Mastadaf who's gone past some big guns here in the Prince of Wales's. He's 2 lengths clear from Adayar. Bay Bridge, Luxembourg, My Prospero staying off on the outside, but Mastadaf is running right away from some of the best horses in Europe, and Mastadaf for Jim Crowley and John and Thady Gosden have blunted some big guns. Luxembourg in second, Adayar third, by Prospero and Bay Bridge. The three from the Champion Stakes are firmly put in their place, and Classic Causeway.
Yeah, what a fine win there by Mastadaf, trained by John Gosden. First Group 1 win for Mastadaf, beating some big horses there. Sir Michael Stout's Bay Bridge, and Luxembourg fancied to finish 1-2 there, but Mastadaf coming up with a very, very outstanding run, winning by 4 lengths. And even trainer John Gosden suggested that even he was surprised at how impressively the horse won today. Meanwhile, the Group 2 Queen Mary Stakes was another hotly contested event, entering as a 9-1 shot. American entry Crimson Advocate, with Hall of Fame jockey John Velasquez in the saddle, claimed the narrowest of victories in a thrilling win by a short head.
Quite a long hold, but they break away for the Queen Mary. Jumping in the air, Bunchen gives them a few lengths at the start. Right up the centre, Gotta Love a Grey is amongst those prominent thanks but no thanks up the centre with a keen coat-eye vision. They're being tracked through by Kadane. Crimson Advocate under the near side running rail is running quickly along with Launch, and those two show the way on the near side. Princess Chisara over on the far side with Graceful Thunder over on the far side as well. They're being followed by Onigiri in that smaller group in company with Flora of Bermuda, who is over there, as is Lady Pink Rose and Out of the Stars. Meanwhile, near side, Crimson Advocate, Gotta Love a Grey had the advantage with Beautiful Diamond being pushed along, and the near side group appear to hold a significant advantage at this stage. Thanks but no thanks track for leaders. Crimson Advocate is burning along for John Velasquez. Over on the far side, still doing well is Flora of Bermuda. Beautiful Diamond chases. Relief Rally is coming home strongly as well. Crimson Advocate has the lead in the Queen Mary. Relief Rally is cutting into that advantage as the line approaches. Out in the lead, Crimson Advocate. Relief Rally dives and gets close. Bob at the hedge, Crimson Advocate and Relief Rally for the Queen Mary, beautiful diamond home in third. Juniper Berries, Flora of Bermuda and Lady Pink Rose over on the far side with Gotta Love a Grey. Crimson Advocate, Relief Rally dives on even strides. Relief Rally was in front, but the Bob is favouring Crimson Advocate, and he is going to get the verdict, I think, very narrowly.
It's all about the far side here. You have to feel a little bit sorry for Flora of Bermuda on the near side of the noseband. Look how far ahead they are, Jason.
Yeah, they have really been, from the early stages, held an advantage. Myself and Johnny were just asking why nobody goes to the fence anymore.
But John Velasquez did start on the fence. He was drawn 28. It looked like he was, but the rest of the field was away from him, so he drifted over to them. But he was always well in control. He jumped well, showed loads of speed, like all these American horses did with the blinkers on. And I think they're able to sustain it over 5. But when they go up to 6 furlongs, with those blinkers on, they just run out of juice the last bit.
Yeah, our stamina, if you like, kicks in, doesn't it? We've, of course, been trained on the bowling green out in America. Never had to, like, we don't call this much of a climb here for one of our tracks, but the Americans say, up that giant hill.
Look how tight it was in the photograph. One for the USA, Matt.
Well, he's one of the best riders on planet Earth.
Yeah, I remember we had Rajiv Mirage in the studio with us last year, Ricardo, and he did mention, when I asked him about the riders globally that he respects most, he did say John Velasquez is a man, he's ridden against him a lot in New York, especially at Aqueduct and Belmont, and we saw evidence of it there. John Velasquez won the Preakness Stakes last month aboard National Treasure, and here he is with Crimson Advocate leading, but being reeled in by Relief Rally. And I know you're a track and field man, Ricardo, but I know you appreciate the racing game. And the difference with horse racing is that when the horses stride, in the stride forward, their head darts forward. With each stride, their head darts forward. Now, Relief Rally, coming from behind, actually caught Crimson Advocate. He caught him and he was about to pass him. And you hear this term in racing all the time about the head bob.
Yes.
It is the head bob that makes Crimson Advocate in the red there, John Velasquez, win this race. Because he was caught by the fast finishing Relief Rally. But it's the head bob. When they reached the wire, Crimson Advocate was just bobbing his head forward. And that was the difference between winning and losing. Because he was caught. He was caught by the fast finishing Relief Rally, the Ireland-bred horse here.
And initially, when I had a look at it, Lance, I actually thought that Relief Rally had won.
Yes, because that's the point I'm making, because Relief Rally caught him.
Yeah.
Relief Rally caught Crimson Advocate. You will see it here. He caught him. So, for all intents and purposes, he pretty much had the race won, but it's the head bob.
Yeah.
It's the head bob. while Crimson Advocate's head was going forward, Relief Rally's head was in the reverse phase of the head bob, and that's why John Velasquez gets the win, but the American rider does really well there.
It doesn't get much closer than that, does it?
No, it doesn't. Now, as we announced on Tuesday's show, Frankie Dettori has received a 9-race day suspension that will see him missing one of the biggest races in his final season in the sport. On Tuesday's opening day of the Royal Ascot meet, Dettori was docked for careless riding aboard Saga. You'll see him squeezing he's aboard the grey horse here. Yeah, and he just comes over a bit there on Cadillac. And the horse that Dettori is riding, Saga, is owned by King Charles. The veteran rider was ruled to have caused the rival horse Cadillac to become severely unbalanced. Now, Dettori will serve his suspension between the 4th of July and the 12th of July. Ricardo, as I suggested yesterday, the ban isn't immediate, but it means that he will not ride at Sandown in the early June Coral Eclipse Stakes, where he was booked to ride the favourite Emily Upjohn. So disappointment for Frankie Dettori there with a 9-race day suspension, but he finally got a win today, late on the card. A brilliant front-running ride, and he brought the house down.
Yeah, not a Grade 1 stakes win, though.
No, it wasn't, no.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, especially in a farewell season for Frankie Dettori. This is the last thing that you want, but it's still a long season of racing, and there will be other opportunities for him to produce more stellar performances, because up to now, Lance, it has really been a very good farewell season for Frankie Dettori.
Tremendous, and the win he had today was his 78th win at Royal Ascot, which is a record. I must say, though, that Ryan Moore has, well, he started the meet with 73. I think he has had a few wins so far, which means that he's probably at 74 or 75 now. and he's still young, so I guess he will pass Frankie Dettori's mark, as Dettori is in his last season, and more rides for the high-powered Aidan O'Brien barn, so he will have winners coming from all ends, and no matter where the racetrack is or where the festival is, and Royal Ascot is among the biggest of them all. But really, really exciting racing that we're seeing from Royal Ascot. I should say that the July festival, which starts in mid-July, Frankie Dettori will be back from his suspension by then. So there's a big July festival coming up that Frankie Dettori will be a part of. So his fans won't be denied the opportunity to see the legend out of action for too long. The Royal Ascot Festival is continuing on your home of champions every day this week until Saturday. And you can catch day 3 on Thursday on SportsMax at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time, 7:30 in Jamaica, with the main event on Thursday's card being the Gold Cup, arguably the biggest event on the Royal Ascot 5-day festival.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.